Hi everybody, this is Alchemist 2, and I'm back again with another movie review. Recently, I went to see Gangster Squad yesterday, and I have to tell you, I absolutely loved it. I just thought that it was just incredible. It was an adrenaline rush. It had a exemplary cast. The story itself is about a gangster named Mickey Cohen who ruled Los Angeles at one point in time. I've never read the book, so I'm not really sure how accurate it is, but I do feel that Sean Penn portrayed Mickey Cohen rather accurately. I think that it was very believable. And even though the gangsters used some weaponry that I thought might have been a little bit cliched, maybe a little bit over the top, I still think that it was rather appropriate and accurate in how everything was depicted. Um, Being a lover of cars, I absolutely loved every single solitary car that was used in the film. However, I felt really sad when a lot of the classics were just completely ripped to shreds. They should have a disclaimer. And I've never seen this. And if I make my own film with cars like this, well, they probably won't be originals, but I would say disclaimer. No classic cars were harmed in this feature. I would do that because I just have such a love for vehicles like that, and just seeing classical cars ruined in such a way just literally ripped my heart out of my chest. It was kind of difficult for me to watch that, but it was really a just an excellent gangster film, and you have good versus evil like you would normally, and within the duration of the film, you have a character who wires Mickey's house, and he says to um, John, the sergeant, at the very beginning, something rather poignant, I felt. He said, I know that we're the good guys, and they are, of course, the bad guys. And right now I can't tell the difference between ourselves and them, or if there is even a difference. And there's actually a lot of truth to that if you've seen the movie, and I like to wonder if this sort of thing actually happens. I'm sure it does. And there have been a lot of crime families that have been brought down this way. I really didn't know a terribly awful lot about Mickey Cohen. I'm more familiar. Bleh, excuse me, I can't even talk this morning. I am more familiar with Al Capone because, well, it's closer to home. Plus, I am just more well read in everything that he did. Plus, I grew up in an area where Dillinger lived, and I absolutely love the movie Public Enemy. I think that Public Enemy is probably one of the more accurate films that have been made, other than movies on Capone and Corleone, of course, with Godfather. Um, I'd like to say that The Sopranos is also an accurate depiction, even though a lot of people might throw flames at me for that, but I just feel that it is extremely accurate, and it's one of my favorite depictions and will forever remain one of my favorite depictions. But Gangster Squad itself is really an incredible movie. It is just an adrenaline rush, and there's actually quite a bit of humor in it too, which I wasn't expecting. And there are some moments that'll catch you by surprise will that will make you cry. At least they made me cry. And I have to say that I enjoy the movie from start to finish, and um, all the actors and actresses did a stupendous job. It truly was a super film. and I felt like I was going back into time. It was after World War II that all of this occurred. And it felt like I had gone back into time, and I think that all the lingo that was used, all the jargon, was very accurate, and it just felt like an old-fashioned gangster film, which I really, really like. And I have to say, it's up at the top as far as gangster films are concerned. This one has a lot of action, a lot of violence, a lot of blood. Um, it implies sex. There, you really don't really, excuse me, you really don't see any sex acts in and of themselves. They're implied. Uh, I think the reason it got an R rating was because of all the gunplay and all the people that were killed or whacked. Um, there was a lot of blood and violence, and cursing, of course. Well, that's to be expected in a gangster film. It's nothing new, but I myself, I give the movie 5 stars, and I know a lot of critics will say, "Well, why?" Oh, well, it was epic. It truly was, and it had everything that I came to know and love in a movie like this, even though it might have been seen as formulaic. I really didn't feel that it was, but it introduced me to a gangster I didn't really know, and it portrayed him in such a way that I felt that I knew him, so to speak. Uh, the story in and of itself is rather interesting, and I'm not going to tell you how it ends because, well, if you've seen it, then you know how it ends. But it's just a tale of good versus evil in reality, and how the police are often the thankless ones, especially in duties like that, and they deserve our support. And having police in my family, I have to say that, and I know I might seem a little bit biased, but one has to show respect to one's family members. Uh, Other than that, I don't really know what else to say about the movie itself, other than I absolutely loved it, and I felt that it was just brilliantly done. The music in it was really accurate and authentic, I felt. And they even had a song. I'm not sure if anybody else noticed this, but I was probably the only one that caught it right away. But there was a song in there that Hoagie Carmichael had written, and Hoagie's from Bloomington. We have connections to him. My family does. So I thought that was really neat. His song Buttermilk Sky, he wrote that when he was in California. So it was accurate that they used that. It was just interesting to hear a song written by a Bloomington boy in a film about California. So that was Who's Your Connection? Made me even happier. Dad didn't even notice. I thought, Dad, that's Hoagie Carmichael. They're playing in the background. But no, he didn't even mention it. He didn't even notice it, or it didn't really get that much of a nod or a wink. It was very subtle. Um, Dad told me about Carmen Miranda, and I knew about Carmen Miranda. Carmen Miranda was actually very short in reality, and the shoes that she wore were what made her so tall, especially the headdress. She sang a song at the nightclub, and that part was actually kind of amusing in and of itself. I felt there were a lot of moments in the film that were very funny, and that caught me off guard. But I think one of the best things in this movie was the chase scene, and the chase scene was just absolutely unbelievable. It it was nonstop, especially with the grenades, and how that beautiful car was just blown to smithereens really killed me. But um, it was just unreal. It truly was. It was very surreal, and just everything was portrayed in such a way that I really felt nostalgic. And this is my kind of movie. I love movies like this, and it just really shows how things were and how things are, I think, at this day and age. Um, a lot of people think that, well, mobsters don't exist, the mafia is dead. I hate to tell you, but they're still around. Um, the police do what they can, but there's only so much that they can stop and so much they can control. And a lot of cops are corrupt. This actually portrayed that as well. They had some of Burbank's finest in one of the casino establishments, and I thought, yeah, this is very accurate. This is true. They probably paid him off with money to have to be on their side and to keep them from unraveling their empire, so to speak. But this does happen. I've read so many stories that actually portray this, so that was very truthful and factual in the way that it was done. Gangster Squad, I still think it deserves 5 stars. 2 thumbs way up. I know that the critics panned this. Uh, the one in my paper gave it 3 stars, which I think is, I still think that's a good review, but I like to give it 5 because I just think it's so well done, and the acting is very accurate, and it's authentic and believable. Particularly Sean Penn. I think Sean Penn really drives home his character, and you could hear the Jewishness in his voice. He really um, portrays that in such a way that I really felt that I was seeing the actual Mickey Cohen. I mean, I don't know the guy. I never read anything about him, but I think that's how he would have sounded. All the other characters just top notch. I just absolutely loved it. And if you're a fan of gangster films, definitely see this. If you're a fan of Sean Penn, see this. I think Josh Brolin, who is a looker, he was just spellbinding in this. Everybody did their role very well. Emma Stone, she was just sparkling as Grace, and I really liked her. I just felt like she was a very interesting character, and her role with Jerry. Well, I can't remember the actor who plays Jerry, but he's a looker too. Ooh. Yeah, all the men were quite handsome and sexy in this. I have to say that even the gangsters themselves were just hot tamales. I will admit to that, and I enjoy things like that. So this is definitely my kind of film. And other than that, uh, I'm working on a script right now. It's called On Tap. I'm not going to tell you what it's about. It's not about beer. Just so you know, it's about tap dancing. It's not about booze. But I guess, well, if somebody could probably take that title and make it into a film about bootlegging if they wanted to. But I decided not to. I decided to make it about tap dancing. It's going to be like Step Up in a way, but actually it's not going to even be close to Step Up. It's more like Pitch Perfect. But it's just about reviving a lost form that has been forgotten, which would be tap dancing, something that I love. Basically, the main character, she's been snubbed by many judges, and her passion in life is dance, and she sings, and she's super talented. Her boyfriend is an up-and-coming country pop singer. He's kind of like the male version of Taylor Swift, which I mentioned in the script, but I'm in the process of writing that. I'm going to write another story in which a young man realizes responsibility very early in his life. He goes to a party, and unfortunately he gets drunk, and um, he gets a girl pregnant that he doesn't even know, and he has to face the responsibility of being a father. It's called Call Me Irresponsible, I know there's been stories that have been done that like this before, but I just thought I would do it in my own way and give it my own spin and do it in such a way that it's actually funny rather than raunchy and all that crud. And I have a fan. Blech, I can't even talk. I even have a fantasy. Darn it! Excuse me. I'm still waking up. And I have a fantasy story. It's called Draconia. It's about this land. They have these two factions that have been in battle for ever. You have the Silver Clan, and then you have the Umber Clan. The Umber Clan, they ride wyverns, and the Silver Clan ride dragons. And of course, the Griffins are on the side of good. If you've read Narnia, if you're familiar with that. And there's only one chimera that is left in existence in this land. And the whole idea is that my main character, Azalea, she has to go into the forest of Verboten just to find this creature and tame it. So it's going to be a perilous journey for her in order to do this. But I've got quite a few things that I'm working on currently, including a story about well, it's semi-autobiographical. It's called Communicating with Eternity. This the things that I've been witnessing. Um, Hopefully, when people read it, they won't run in terror from me because of the unusual things that I see. But truth will out, and those who know me will accept me. There are people who have the same sort of um, happenings in their lives, and even though it can't be explained, it's just something that I think we're going to be seeing more of in the future. And the veil is definitely thinning. So that's the only thing I have to say about that. Other than this, that's basically what I've been up to. And fairly soon, I'll be doing a review of the last two books in the Guardian series, which would be about the Easter Bunny and Tooth Fairy. And I will read The Leaf Men, which is a shorter book. It's just a small children's book. And then there's one that's on Sandman. I haven't received the one on Sandman yet, so when I do, I'll read it and I'll do a review on that. But other than that, excuse me, other than that, all is well, and I can't really complain. And my first day of school starts today, so I have that to look forward to. And I shall see you later.